each and every day. Love and live your way. Do your very best. Learn and lead today. Be the best you can. It's your life. Take a stand. So live your best life. Live your best life. Come on and live your best life with Dr. Julia Royston. Hello, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, bringing you another edition of Live Your Best Life. Oh my goodness. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Happy Father's Day to everyone. So I am on with three fantastic men, and I can't believe I was able to get them all on at the same time. Woo, woo. It's super exciting. A good morning with the Royston men today. Wishing every father a happy Father's Day. We're going to be talking about fathers, not only fathers, but grandfathers, and then those stand-in fathers, those bonus fathers, those role model fathers that I am just super duper excited about, because I'm married to one of those bonus fathers. We have no biological children, but believe you me, he is a father figure to many. So I'm going to start off with just one thing first, remembering our fathers that have gone on to glory. And my father is one of those people who's very instrumental in my life, Dr. Jack Forey. You'll see it on the advertisement. It's on my timeline. And when I look in the mirror every single solitary day, I see him every day that I wake up. I say something he said every day. I am living out my best life, but it is because of him and my mother that I'm able to live this best life. So I'm going to start off with just 5 things, because, there was so much. My dad was an educator. He was an entrepreneur. He was a Christian educator. He was a ministry leader, a deacon. Oh my gosh, I don't do probably half of the things that he did. And most of the time, people are really tired when they see all that I do, but I'm a chip off that block. We live it all out as hard and fast and as much as we can. We love hard. We live life to the fullest until we can't live anymore. And this year we celebrate 10 years of remembering my dad. He went to glory May 18th, 2010. So it has been 10 years since he's gone, but he's not gone. My mother tells me as long as I'm alive, he'll still be alive, because I look the most like him and I do the most that he did. Look the most like him and do the most he did. So 5 things that I just want to leave you today that my dad taught me. Number 1, if a human being can do it, you can do it. Long as you're doing something that a human being is designed to do, and not as an animal or machine, but if it's a human being can do it, you can do it. Second thing, I just wrote down these 5 really quickly, because there's probably 500 more, but there's just these 5 main ones that I say pretty much all the time. Number 2, always have something, produce something, create something that you can charge, so you'll never be broke. So I think that's the reason why I stay in creative mode, so I won't be broke, but the gifted should not be broke. And then number 3, don't burn bridges. Even if you fall out with people, even if you have a disagreement, I know other people, they curse people out. I will never. He said, never say never. Of course, that goes along with the don't burn bridges, because you just never know who's going to need to bring you a cup of water when you go back. That's another one. Like I said, there's 500 of them. But don't burn bridges. We just fall out. We just agree to disagree. We no longer stay in contact maybe as much as we did. We can't get along. We had a disagreement, but we don't burn that bridge and never say never, because you just never know. And then number 4, a good name. The scripture was, a good name is better to be chosen than great riches. And he always used to tell us that your name is all you have. And so make sure that no matter what, that you keep your good name and your good reputation. So, and then final thing, he always used to tell me after he would hear me sing or speak or whatever, he said, I see you up there doing your thing, But the biggest one that, of course, even my cousins are on. Thank you so much for support. Thank you for sharing and the hearts, etc. But everyone knew that my dad believed that education was king. Education was everything. He was raised as a sharecropper. My grandfather, there's probably 10 or 100 things he used to say that I still say. And but my grandfather was a tobacco sharecropper in Henry County, and raised 6 boys and a girl. And and they had, according to my aunt, there was probably 7 of them that could have lived, but they did not survive. So it would have been probably at least 7 more of them. But the 7 were born, and they rose to greatness, to live great lives, strategic in their community, in their churches. There were 2 pastors. Everybody taught either in church or in public schools. Everybody was either a Christian educator. We all were raised in church. And that, of course, it is a tribute to their mother, who died when they were very young. So I have a goodly heritage. And fortunately for me, I married into a goodly heritage as well. So the Forey family is on my mother's side. The Spencers are a wonderful church family that's on my mother's side. The Foreys are on my father's side. And then I have the great fortune of marrying into a wonderful family, which is the Roystons. God did that for me. And I tell this story all the time. So who I knew first was Michael, because we were in ministry together at More Than Conquerors. I was leading worship there at More Than Conquerors, but I didn't know he had a twin brother. Brian never came to More Than Conquerors because he was serving at St. Stephen. And then I started at Simmons part-time. I worked at Presentation Academy in the day. Yeah, I've always had multiple jobs. And in the evening, I was at Simmons. Well, even before Brian came to Simmons, Reverend Royston came to Simmons to speak. And then I started I thought it was coincidental, singing, because people would get me out of my school and I could come and sing a funeral and then come back to school. So several times Reverend Royston was the preacher and I was the soloist. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So that's Michael's dad. But I didn't know still Brian didn't come along until much later when he came to Simmons to install the computer. So the whole Royston family, I have just been taken on, and Reverend Royston's mother really liked me, and she was always, until her passing, she was just really one of my favorite people. I loved to talk to her, and she always made me crack up and laugh. So and I told him, I said, now the star of the show is Reverend Claude Raymond Royston. He's the star of this show because so many people ask me, so how's Reverend Royston? Well, Facebook, I have brought the mountain, I have brought the legend himself to Facebook today on Father's Day. Reverend Claude Royston, I want him to introduce himself. I want him to tell us a little bit about all what he does. So you Greater Salemites, he was your pastor for so many years, here he is, live and in person, looking like $1 bazillion. And Papa, we all call him affectionately Papa. So Papa Royston, I want you to start. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, we're only going to be on for about 30, 40 minutes, but tell us a little bit about all what you have done.
Well, of course, at the beginning, from us coming down here, I came down here to go to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, and after I graduated, I had the privilege of being called to the Greater Salem Baptist Church, and I spent 25 years there, 25 great years, I might add. And for those of you who may be listening who are members of Greater Salem, I remember you very fondly. Several of you are still in touch with me, and I appreciate that very much. I would like to think that I've sown great seeds in your life to help make you to be the kinds of Christians that I was trying to teach you to be. And I know that for a fact, and many of you, because I've seen you and I've seen the success that you have had, and it means a great deal to me to know that. Now, right now, what I'm doing Well, let me say that at age 69, I went back to school to become a chaplain, and spent 2 years in school learning to be a chaplain. Now have been hired uh, by hospice to be a chaplain. I'm the on-call chaplain with hospice, and I have the privilege of ministering to people at the most difficult time in their lives, and it has been extremely rewarding. For those of you who don't know, I turned 82 May the 13th, and to still be able to work full time and enjoy the work that I'm doing and enjoy life. I enjoy my family tremendously, and I'm blessed to have the kind of family that I have.
Yes, he is.
Fact of, all right, Brian. The fact of the matter is, Kendra's here with us today. She's in the kitchen there now. So, but nonetheless, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, Kendra is now a PhD. She is now working at where's she
Eli
working?
Lilly.
Eli Lilly.
Eli Lilly, and doing very well. So Claude Royston is doing well, and I thank you, for all of you, for the privilege of knowing you and for being a part of your lives. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of your lives. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Papa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I got one question for you.
What's that?
So I know you're thankful for pastoring, but I'm quite sure during this difficult time, are you are you regretting not being in the pastoral role? Or are you grateful for where you are now?
No, fact is, I'm grateful for where I am now, because I realize that there are many people who need the services that I can give because of my experiences. You know, the fact that we lost a son, the fact that we've been through grief and grieving, and now I'm able to minister to people in so many different ways. In fact, I'm going to be preaching a funeral tomorrow, Tuesday, for the son of one of the people that I work with.
Oh, wow.
So my ministry is continuing on, but things are I'm very well satisfied with where I am. Let's put it like that.
Awesome. Awesome.
The Lord has been extremely good, and I do not take any hour that I live for granted.
Awesome. Awesome. That is so fantastic. And believe you me, there are so many people who are trying to find their way ministerially. And I hope that you take something that Reverend Royston said to really to heart, to search yourself and find out where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing in ministry, so that you can live out your best life. Because Papa can outwork all of us. I'm just gonna tell you. But he can outwork all of us in the garden, etc. He can outwork all of us. So hold on to that, just in case somebody has a question. Papa, don't go anywhere. So okay. Papa represents to me our legacy, our heritage. I'm a part of the legacy, of course, of my parents, but Papa represents to me grandfathers and people of wisdom. Not to say that they're always perfect, but they've lived long enough to realize what's good and bad, what's right and what's wrong. And honestly, Papa has helped Brian and I on many different occasions, help us talk out things, help us decide, make decisions of what's right and what's wrong. And most of the time, he's just doing the listening. He's not doing much talking. He's like, okay, well, you sound like you got your answer, son. Daughter, what is your answer? What do you think? So it really helps to have wisdom out there. So I really encourage you, if you have not found a person of wisdom, be sure and find them and celebrate them and be happy for them. And really, really, really celebrate them as much as possible, as long as you have them. We're going to be we've been celebrating Papa for a long time, 82 years, and we're going to continue to do so as long as God allows him to live with us. But right now, he's probably in better health than all of us. He probably is doing better than all of us. So, all right. So I want to move to the father in the bunch, the father in the bunch, to Michael Royston, who Papa talked about his granddaughter he's extremely proud of, but this is the actual father of Dr. Kendra Royston. So introduce yourself, Michael Royston. Tell us a little bit about what you do and all that good stuff.
I'm
And
just
take
the
over.
humble I'm just the humble father of a beautiful daughter. That's all I am. Humble father. That's the truth. I'm so proud of that girl. She just has my heart left and right, and she's a get it done person, and she's a kind person. Uh, and I'm very, very grateful. God's blessed me with a very intelligent young woman. Michael Royston. I'm a computer tech from way back, ever since I was a kid. I had the first computer was a TI 99 4A. I'm a computer tech, every bit. No maybe, no guesswork. And then I told my brother he was going to be good at computer tech. And he goes, no, I won't, I won't, I won't. And he's good at it now.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your ministry side of you, what you do ministerially.
All right. I am a elder at More Than Conquerors Christian Church. At Greater Salem, I was a deacon. And from that, when I went to became a founder of More Than Conquerors Christian Church with Reverend William McKinley Blackford IV, and he made me an elder, which elevated me a little bit higher than deacon, and now we're just in the. It's been a journey. It's been a very good journey though, because of the fact that we've created a loving community that loves the Lord and wants God's kingdom to be bigger and better. We want it to grow and let everyone know the life-changing blood of Jesus Christ, plain and simple. And we just love everybody, and that love shows. That love shows.
And that's an awesome thing. And that really is. And I felt that when I was there as the worship leader for 2 years at More Than Conquerors. And so meeting them in the ministry setting and just every day is really an awesome privilege for me. So and then I'm gonna come back and ask you a question and ask all of you a question. But I want to introduce the love of my life, Mr. Brian Royston. And Pastor Kevin Cosby takes credit for us being combined, but being married. But I know that it was clearly a God thing altogether. So, Brian Royston, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do. What are you doing these days?
Well, what I'm doing these days, I finally retired back in last August 1st from the United Postal Service, serving 31 years. And I'm now kind of like am a investor of sorts, trying to keep my money and make some more money.
Okay, so that now you can tell that sums up Mr. Brian Royston is all about keeping his money and getting it.
I'm also the video editor for Julia's Live Your Best Life. I also assist wherever necessary, wherever she needs me, and wherever my family needs me. I do what I can.
Exactly. That's my IT department, and I'm very, very proud of him. Now, one of the things about Brian, we do not have any biological children. We have fish. And but I want him to talk a little bit about how he has become a father figure for so many, because my father used to talk about it all the time, that the men have to stand up and take their rightful place. So even though I had 2 sisters and we didn't have any brothers, it was all about being pro man. And if you've been on my Facebook timeline at all, I've just been in a whole male week of celebration with the all male virtual book fair Monday and Saturday, and now today with the Royston men. So You know, I'm a real pro man and always have been and was raised to do that. But so tell just a couple of things about how you have become a father figure to so many.
Well, it's just, I guess it's a sense that I have that some children just need that extra, and either the conversation with the male figure, or they just want someone to lean on, to cry on, or just to chat, and then it just comes out naturally in me, to say the least, and if they ever need something, I'm sincere, you know. All I have is my word, so my word is my bond. As I have many, so, and they all know my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, then you call me out on it. But my word is my bond, and I just encourage them to do their best, And if they need a little assistance with money, whatever, then we take care of that. I don't ask for it back, you know. But if they happen to give it back, I'm more than happy to take it. But but for the most part, even my nephew Travaz, he is still in the picture. My step nephew, you know, and I just recently got back in touch with him, so everything's great, hunky dory. Just trying to keep the family, try to keep family together. I have a big thing about family. Family is very important. It takes a village to raise a family.
Exactly. Now he has people who he is their father figure on from UPS. They call and stay on the phone him for a long time, asking for his advice. I think it's wonderful.
Sucking me dry.
Sucking them dry.
But he's retired now, so he can stay on the phone with them for hours and answer their questions and how should I invest my money and what should I do about him and what do you think about this man and should I date him and Brian's like dump him and that whole scenario. So don't be fooled just because Brian does not have any biological children, believe you me. and they're all ethnicities too. I mean, from Asian to Caucasian to African. I mean, he has no there's no selection. It doesn't just they come in all
multicultural.
He's multicultural, right? They come in all shapes and sizes and colors and genders and the whole 9 yards, which is an awesome thing. And fortunately, we're able to help and support people. So, all right. So then I want to ask all of you a question. Given the time that we live in now, and Papa, I want you to start because I'm quite sure that you've never seen anything quite like this. Being in a global pandemic. Now, you might have experienced protests, but a global pandemic. So what, I don't think we're out of the global pandemic yet, but even inside of it. So what advice would you give a father to really continue? Because this is a tough time for a lot of people. So I need one bit of advice that you would really give someone, especially a father, enduring in this tough time. Because people look up to fathers and, Daddy, what we gonna do? And so what advice would you give them?
First advice I would give them: make sure they're solidly grounded in the Word of God, because that's what keeps us where we need to be. Knowing that you have great faith, and then knowing that the Lord will get us through whatever the circumstances may be. I'm at the stage now where I don't worry about the pandemic at all, because whatever comes, the Lord's going to take care of us. He has made that promise. So that's the word of advice that I have. Ground yourself totally in faith in Jesus Christ, and allow the Lord to just guide you through everything that you're going through. And he's never failed me yet, so I'm sure that he will do the same for each of you. In fact, I know it.
Exactly. Michael, you want to respond to the same thing?
Treasure each moment, because we never know when the last one's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to truly enjoy your loved ones, because the worst thing that can happen is, I wish I would have said this, I wish I would have done that. You don't have to if you live every moment to the fullest. People know how you care about them. They know how you feel. Kendra knows without a doubt her daddy loves her, because I tell her every time I get a chance to tell her. I'm so proud of her. I love her so much, and she knows it. And Jean, my wife, knows how crazy I am about the family as a whole.
Sure.
She said, I don't have a gift for you. I don't have a gift. And then she gave me the perfect gift this year. Pictures of my people.
Yeah. That's
You know,
wonderful.
and little poems with them as well. So she knows her man very well.
Awesome. Awesome. Brian, you got something to add?
Well, we kind of have an extended family. You know, we have Christian, Markeisha, and Bubba, and our little, I forgot the baby's name. Lord have mercy. What's the baby's name?
Kamari.
Kamari.
Yes. So we got an extended family that were father figures too also. So whenever they have any questions or anything of that nature, we're always there for them. There's no doubt about that.
Awesome. Awesome. So one of the things that I've always told Brian, I said, do you know how fortunate you are to actually know who your father is? So I tell this story often, but when Brian and I were getting married, we went through marriage counseling, and it was required at St. Stephen. And so one of the weeks, I can never remember whether it's third, fourth, or fifth week, whatever. It's 6 weeks long, but it was like the fourth week. And at that time, we got married in 2006. So my father was still alive, but we were the oldest couple there because we were in our 40s. And we were the only couple who brought two parents. We're the only ones who had four people with us. His parents were there and my parents were there. And so, I mean, and everybody else either had one person, it might have been an auntie, they did not have two parents. And, you know, my heart just went out to them because, you know, they had their family representative there, and they could have had two parents and they just weren't able to come. But they told us from the week one that our parents were due, you know, bring both sides of the family because they're going to be there. So, I mean, you know, it is just really an awesome privilege. And my heart always goes out to young people whose parents are either incarcerated or whose parents are, you know, are deceased already, or they never knew them. I know people who have had that happen. Like they never did have a relationship with their father or their mother, and then they died before they ever met them. And there's like a big, huge hole in their heart that they don't have, that they still have even to this day, because they missed out on that relationship. So I definitely wanted Brian on, because he's like, well, I don't have any biological children. But I'm like, sometimes you're filling that huge hole in that gap of that father figure that people do not have naturally and that do not have in their lives. So, you know, so I really encourage you, even if you do not know, you know who your biological father is, or they're deceased, or do not, and they're no longer here, to recognize, remember them, give them their place and where they're due, but also recognize the people that are around you. Because as someone who had a great dad and, you know, has great memories, God has surrounded me with men in my life who, you know, I'm able to talk to spiritually. I'm able to talk about anything I want to talk about. And I'm really thankful and grateful for the Royston men for that. So I'm looking in the Facebook chat. Does anybody have any questions? You got Reverend Royston here. He is here live and in person. You're going to ask him something. feel free to do so. I'm going to be on just for a few more minutes. We're going to be here, and then I'm going to shut it down. But if you have a question you'd like to ask a seasoned minister, chaplain, if you want to ask Brian about money, he's all about that. And then if you you want to ask Michael about ministry, feel free to do so. But jump in here. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to let you do a couple of minutes.
Well, you did know, I did get a text today. You know, since Mike and I are twins, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of shared his daughter. So she did say happy Father's Day, Daddy number 2.
Oh, yeah. There he is. There he is.
That
Brian.
just made me melt.
Yeah, that's Brian. He's got all of his children. I have I guess still have one ministry. Yes, sir.
Let me say that I was surprised on yesterday. I got a bouquet of flowers, or a vase of flowers, from Archie Thomas.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Thomas. And he talked about how grateful he was for the influence that we had on him while he was there. I had no idea. That was the last person I would have thought. But see, when he was in school, we hired him at Greater Salem, you know, to be our minister of music. And he and his wife are divorced now, and I've had the privilege of counseling them even.
Oh,
so
wow.
I just wanted to let you know that I've had the privilege of being able to influence someone's life, and lives that I didn't even know about.
That is awesome. Okay, so we do have one question. What's your Papa? This one's for you. What is your fondest memory as a father, especially raising 3 little boys, especially raising Brian Royston? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Brian's a handful.
My fondest memory of raising 3 sons. My fondest memory is the fact that they know that I was always there for them.
Yeah.
And if I said that I was going to do something, in fact I did it. I kept my promise to them. Like Brian said earlier, he learned it from his dad. Your word is your bond. Michael and Brian cannot tell. They know of no night that their dad was not there, and if he wasn't there, they knew exactly where he was.
Mm-hmm.
They're 57 years. They've always known that their dad is in the place he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a request for Papa to pray. So we're gonna have Papa pray at the end. Anybody else have any questions? Because they want you specifically to pray for bereaved families. This prayer request came from a friend of mine and client of mine in Alabama. This weekend they lost a son in their family, and his first child is due in December. So the child will never know their dad. Wow. So yeah, so that they're really it's a heart-wrenching story and a heartbreaking story. So one more minute for another request, and then any other requests for Papa, and then I want Papa to pray us out as we head on out.
Other than being just dad, I guess you could say I'm an uncle too. I'm Uncle Brian.
Yes.
Okay, and I've had a major influence on one of the young women that I've worked with. Since I knew her since she was 21. Now she's 40 something.
We won't say her name. She's in her 40s. Yeah.
And she's definitely in a better place because of some of the advice that I did give her, along with, having, she was a single mom, and raising 2 children. Dad was kind of by the wayside, but, whenever she needed advice, I was there when she needed it.
Oh my God. And she talks for hours. Her Brian can talk for hours. I said, did you get her questions, all her questions and her issues answered? You know, we just need that. You know, I had the what do you say to a father that missed the chance to be a dad? And I don't know whether they mean they were out of the child's life and okay, now full of regret. So which one of y'all want to take that?
All I can say is you start where you start.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. If you can't make up the end, I mean, in the beginning, you start where you start, and you try and achieve. Don't overdo it, because that doesn't do you a bit of good either. You just have to start where you can start.
And
exactly.
the truth is, you have to own up to the fact that you weren't there. It's not anyone else's fault, and they can say hurtful things to you in the process, but you got to own it and not run from it.
Right.
And don't think that money is going to solve it all. It's not going to do it. Yeah. Money is not going to solve it. I don't care what they say. Money will not solve it.
Yeah.
It's you being there for them when they need you.
Right. Because they may not need money. They may have the money. They just want you. They want a relationship with you rather than the money. And I've seen that when I taught at presentation. You know, the dad sent him money, but she's like, you know, she basically threw it because she's like, I don't want the money. I wanted him here. I wanted his physical presence here. I didn't care nothing about the money. You know, money answers all things, but money does not take the place of human relationship. Yeah, it can buy stuff. It answers that, but it doesn't. The emotion of not having your father there, you know, is not what, you know, it doesn't solve that. Okay, so I have another question. Michael, how does it feel being a first-time grandfather? That's from your wife.
It is joyful. You couldn't have grandchildren first? Ask Papa. He knows that. He knows how that feels. He's crazy about Kendra. And she's crazy about him.
So you start all over again from scratch?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, it's an interesting way to be able to pass your love along to someone else, and she knows I love her.
Right.
There's no maybe, no guess, but then she calls me Pop so fast, so hard.
You okay, Pop?
Yeah. And whatever I have to eat, she wants a share of it.
Oh Lord, yeah. Pop. Mm-hmm. Pop is doing it.
It's a joy. It's a joy.
Grandchildren first. Wow, grandchildren first. Kendra trying to get jealous. Grandchildren first. Any other questions? The questions have been wonderful. See, that's the reason why I brought y'all on. Any other questions? I got a couple more minutes. Parents ain't loyal. Parents ain't loyal.
I showed Kendra pictures of herself, but she can't even remember.
Yeah, she's little. Oh yeah, we got them. The videos too. Mm-hmm. They're cute as anything. But
videos. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that reminds me. I gotta give Kendra a picture when she gets here. When I see her today.
Yeah. So first off, thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out of this wonderful day to be with me on Live Your Best Life. And thank you. Sister Ellis, Sister Faye says, I've enjoyed you this morning. You're welcome, love. I've enjoyed you guys too, because I know y'all starting church at 11 o'clock. So I try to do a little bit to get in between the morning services and all that good stuff. But I was super excited to bring Reverend Royston with y'all today and make sure that the Greater Salems, I'm going to be tagging some of them in there, who say, how's Reverend Royston doing? Oh, well, I showed you. There he is. And thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate it. So I want Papa to go ahead and pray, especially pray for fathers and the bereaved families. And then we're going to close it out.
Let me begin with the scripture. The Lord, this is the 27th Psalm. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evil men advance against me to devour my flesh, when my enemies and my foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. One thing I ask of the Lord, that this is what I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Lord, we come before you at a time when every person who is here and present stands in the need of knowing that your presence is with them. I ask God that you would enable them to experience your presence right now, to help them deal with whatever issues they are dealing with in their lives right now. God, I ask that you would enable them to recognize that you already have things under control. Even though we don't understand what's going on, we know that you do, and we know that whatever the outcome is, you will be there with us to help guide us through each and every situation. God, I ask that you would remember those who have lost loved ones. Help them to recognize, God, that they shall see those loved ones again, that those loved ones are in your presence. And the scripture tells us, absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Help us to gain strength, knowing that those who have gone on before us are now in the presence of the Lord in a greater sense even than we are. God, I'm asking that you would remember those families who have children being born. I ask that you would enable them to know how to care for those children, how to rear them, give them strength, help them to enjoy the babies while they're babies, and help them, dear God, to be all that you desire them to be. Master, you've been so good and so kind. We thank you for all you've done, for all you're doing, and all that you shall do in the future. We do ask all of these things in the blessed name of Jesus, our Lord and our Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Papa. We
You're
always feel
welcome.
better after Papa prays. We always feel better after Papa prays. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with me today. I love you all and appreciate you all. And happy Father's Day again to all of you. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are going to be watching, even on the replay. We love you. Have a great and marvelous day.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.